What up, yo? It's
What's
El
going
Hombre, Trust
on?
the Profits, Randy from Triple Clowns. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here. El Hombre. This is exciting for me.
Yeah,
Talk.
first time on, dude. I've been on yours a couple times, I think.
It is the
We've
first time
talked a
on for
million
me.
times. Feel like we're blood brothers, long lost brothers, but
We probably are related in some way. Let's face it. If we went back far enough, I'm sure we are. We're from the native dancer line.
that's it, man. So we're here basically open forum style. We have no plan whatsoever, which is kind of awesome. Talking Bob Baffert and the fun-loving stuff that's going on there, and trying to figure out like what's on everybody's mind about it, because I know how I feel about it. We intentionally didn't talk about it a whole lot before we jumped on here, but where are you at on this whole topic? I think I've got a few bullet points we can hit on, but just generally, where are you at on this topic?
I'm confused. I'll be honest. I want to, there's part of me that wants to bash him, and there's part of me that wants to be like, wait a second. It's really confusing to me. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be wishy-washy here.
Me too. I'll be honest.
Yeah, because the more you dig into it, the more you're like, and we'll get into it. Like, especially me in California racing. Is he good for it? Is he bad for it? I don't know. I'm starting to lean one way, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. But I don't know. There's part of me that wants to be like, is it a witch hunt? And then you start digging in other things. Is it a bigger picture? Is it not Bob Baffert? Is it horse racing?
Is it Lance Armstrong in cycling 10 years ago where everybody was guilty? And that, I'm sure there's an element of that too, but
absolutely.
So I guess to hit my first bullet point I have written, and by the way, like I thought about it a few times today because I knew we were going to do this tonight. Is it more fun to play devil's advocate and defend Bob, or to be on his team and, pretend to be something I'm not? I'm confused too. I agree with what you said. It's way more fun to sit here and bash him and call him, white-headed Hitler and the things that, that are fun. That's fun to me, but I don't know. I'm not an industry guy. I don't really know shit about the subject, to be honest. I do know what, the people are printing, and I saw the Medina Spirit report today. That's the first topic I'll bring up. And I think we can agree, or at least the few people I talked to today about it, we learned basically nothing from that, which was exactly what we thought we would learn. Mm-hmm. Take on the Medina Spirit report. I mean,
which could be a good thing in a sense, but we don't know. We don't know. I mean, are we going down a rabbit hole of conspiracy, cover-ups? It's Peter Miller ducking out. I mean, was that we're going to suspend you or you can duck out? I mean, there's things that go on in every sport. Is this another one?
Yeah, it's a big deal. I always reference Major League Baseball with the steroid scandal, and before everybody jumps the gun and says this wasn't steroids, this is topical cream, whatever. I know that, but I'm saying it was the same thing in baseball, where it was clear that there was a lot of people doing things against. I'm going to go with against the rules, because that's everybody wants to be careful with the steroid and the juice and the enhancement drugs, because Baffert, I don't think, has really been accused of that recently anyway. So first of all, I want to say too, we got live chat open. We're gonna address the questions that come rolling in, and I see a few coming in already, which is cool. Thanks everybody for joining. I tend to skip over all that stuff because I'm not an industry guy, like I said, but I'm here. I want opinions, dude, because I do care about the sport.
I want to talk about.
I love freaking animals.
Cool to talk about.
Yeah, man, I love the animals, and I hate the fact that Santa Anita had 100 horses dying a year and all that for a while there, and it's sickening to me. And if Baffert's doing it, if we can prevent that by talking about this, let's do it. And maybe it's like we said, neither one of us have a job. Nobody's out here trying to attack Baffert personally, because I don't know any better.
No, and I stand on the same ground. It's funny you said the Major League Baseball thing, and real quick, because I actually have one of these as my points. It is weird when I said I don't know what's good for the sport, not good for the sport, because when we look at it, what was Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa for the sport of baseball? We knew they were on steroids, they were doing whatever, that was good for baseball though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
You know what
was
I mean?
picture wise. Yes,
Yeah.
it brought back a dead sport.
Yeah. And are we looking at Baffert being like, at least we're talking about it? I know people that don't know anything about horse racing that know Bob Baffert.
Oh,
And this is totally devil's advocate on the public being like, we love bad news. And he's been bad news. A lot of people have to be held accountable in this industry, along with Bob Baffert. But let's talk about him. Let's get into that. And I think somebody made a good point of we're trying to talk about the narcolepsy report, right? It's a narcolepsy.
I'm going to say yes because I don't.
Something like that. It's like an autopsy for a horse, and nothing came out of it, which I was a firm believer that was just terrible luck. I really think so. I think Reggie Lewis died. You know what I mean? I love Reggie. I actually knew Reggie Lewis personally.
He's a great player.
I have heart attacks, and sometimes you have a bad heart. Do I think it's from steroids? God, I hope this didn't come back with that, because that would be awful. I don't care if you hate him or not. And I agree with you, Jay, when you said horses have no choice. You're absolutely right. We have to do that. I'm just playing devil's advocate in a sense of, are we getting attention for the sport? I mean, TV whore at this point for me. But yeah, I mean,
and let's be honest, you talked about McGuire and Sosa and Bonds kind of saving the game of baseball. They did. And coming from I'm a fanboy, like I mentioned earlier. I'm a fanboy and gambler in this sport before I'm an industry person. I don't claim to be an industry person. I don't know the insides of barns. I don't know what goes into the day in and day out stuff. But what I do know is I'm a fan, and I want the sport to be bigger. And Baffert is the face of the industry, and he has been for a long time. At least, several years, since I don't know, 10, 15 years, he's been the face of the sport to the quote unquote, casual fan. And that guy, to me, you either got to do the Barry Bonds or Rafael Palmeiro and
stand up,
freaking plug. You're out, hardline it or not, or just say we can't prove anything. Sorry, Bob's in. That's it. But they can't have this wavering thing where one track says no, you can't do it. In this case, Churchill Downs. It's ruining the Kentucky Derby prep season. It's got that whole thing up in the air. We'll get into that in a minute, but I mean, it's really put a big damper on the whole Kentucky Derby prep season for me, anyway.
It really does. I mean, I don't know if this is one of your bullet points. I think you might be going into it now, and I don't want to jump ahead. But I mean, let's talk about it right now, if you want. I'm sure this is one of them. Do you think Bob Baffert won't be in the Kentucky Derby?
I don't think he will. I don't think he will, but I think the horses that are in his barn right now could be, especially the three I have paid attention to the most are Newgrange, Messier, and Corniche, who are the latter two that I just mentioned are obviously big time race winners. Newgrange won an early prep, so all three of them are really in the conversation here. If I'm the owner of any of those three, or even a partial owner or involved any way, I'm absolutely pissed that they're not going to get their chance to run the dream race. Go ahead.
Well, here's my point. You own these horses, right? So say El Hombre, you own Corniche, correct?
Yeah.
There's something in there that they can't change barns within like a certain amount of time. They're not
allowed. I don't know the facts on that. When there's got to be a deadline, right?
Yeah, and I think it's passed, or it's really close, and they don't get the points, and they can't get there, right?
I know there's been no points accumulated for those three, even with their wins.
You don't think they'll go back to it, because don't you think these owners, and we'll get to the owners in a minute because I have a problem with those people as well. Don't you think these owners would have taken these horses out like last year? Don't you think Corniche won the juvenile? Don't you think if you own that horse and you said, hey, Bob, listen, You're my friend. Bob could be my brother at that point, right?
And you're
And
leaving.
you take him out unless Bob's legal team is in your ear going, "Don't worry about it."
And that's what I'm saying. That's in my opinion. And again, I'm a know nothing, but this is like I suspect that's what's going on because these people, the owners, have to be sitting there doing exactly what you just said, which is I'm getting the hell out of Dodge with this horse. If he's got a shot to go to the Derby and Bob's going to keep me from going to the Derby, out. I will sign up Joe Blow, the plumber down the street, to be the trainer just to get him out of Bob's barn so he can run, compete. But let me show you something real quick. Watch this.
Yep.
Baffert the goat, ready?
Jason, my man.
Baffert the cheater. And this is, I mean, that's a microcosm.
This is why we're here.
Yes, exactly, dude. So I see that all day on horse racing Twitter, and I can't resist, but have a little fun with it myself. And the facts are it's not fun when, there's obviously a lot of real reasons to not have fun with this. But at the same time, dude, like as a fan that's not in the barn or not in the booth calling the shots for the industry at all, like I just wish that this wasn't a thing. And why can't we get past it as a sport that's obviously struggling to get new fans, and it has been for years. It's not this isn't the NBA, NFL here, right? So why would you be okay with this situation being on the forefront? It sucks, dude. Like,
listen, I'm in California racing. Obviously I'm out here in California. I'm involved in California racing, and I go back and forth. And this is a tough one. And I don't know if most people realize this. They probably do. With California racing is, if you got rid of Baffert tomorrow, would we have bigger fields? Would we have more trainers getting a chance than Dan Blackers, even the Mandelas with a couple more horses and whatever? I mean,
are you asking me that? Like,
or is he good for it because he gets them like he's the Patriot way? Not to go to he tunes them up to get ready for 3 years old. If you can't handle the Baffert camp, you can't handle it. And is it good or bad for California racing?
That's what it comes down to. And I think that nobody knows that answer for sure. And that's why they're afraid to commit either way. Like, if you pull the plug, I mean, is that harmful for the game overall? Like, especially from the casual fan, where's the rich white-headed dude that used to win the Kentucky Derby every year? Where's he at if you're a casual fan?
Yeah.
Or is it like you said, does this pave the way to, and look at, we'll go back to baseball. I do this every time we talk about the subject, but baseball, it worked. They made an example of the big, they basically forced McGuire and Sosa and Bonds and Palmeiro and all these guys that had skulls grow like 6 inches overnight on roids. They forced them out of the game and basically banished them and their legacy, for what it's worth. But it worked, dude. You don't see these absolute, bodybuilder looking dudes in baseball anymore. It's over.
Brady Anderson's not popping up out of nowhere anymore.
Yeah, dude. You don't get better at 42 years old like Barry Bonds hitting 50 bombs out of San Francisco Bay overnight when he was never a home run hitter in his prime. Like, you don't see that happen. It doesn't happen anymore because baseball took a stand and they fixed it. And I think in my opinion, and again, it may not be Baffert, so I hesitate. I come a little bit short of saying you got to hang Baffert and make him the example. A lot of me thinks that because it worked for baseball. Because you don't see that. Even 5 years after the Bonds and McGuire stuff happened, you don't see this. You don't see dudes coming in looking like MMA wrestlers in baseball anymore. It doesn't happen.
No, nobody's hat size is growing.
Yeah, dude.
In the next year. I mean,
because they drew a hard line and they're like, hey, dude, you are not a Hall of Fame athlete. You are basically banished.
Well, and it's like 2 strikes,
if you do that.
Your suspension, 3 strikes, you're out. Like, that's it. That's what they do, right? It's like 3 months the first time, a year the second, and I think it's like lifetime the third. That's it. I think Manny Ramirez hit it, who I think is the greatest right-handed hitter ever in the game.
Yeah. But he's got that black cloud over him too. I mean,
and that was later on. So But that's the thing,
Clemens
and I
was
do
my
like some
hero
of these
growing up. And
comments
that was,
here, just to say them real quick. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. You're, a lot of times I go back and forth with it. You're right. The horses are going to be great, but here's the thing with the owners, El Hombre. Think about it. Like we have to hold some responsibility to, you know, Joe and Mary Smith here that are like, oh, I bought $1 million horse. Where's it go to?
yeah.
Bip, bip, boop, boop. I'm going to Bob Baffert. And why? So if you look at these big time horses, they all go to Baffert. You buy a horse for $750,000. Who's he go to? Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert. Why? So stop doing that with the owners. Stop. You want to stop him? Stop giving him every $2 million horses and hold these people accountable as well, because it's not like they don't know the trainer, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think up until this point, I think, like you said, they had to know what they were getting themselves into even a couple of years ago. But it really got out of control. Like I remember, like 3 years ago, it got out of control. I felt like where it was like super like the service stuff, and it was like, okay, now it's public that everybody knows that this is a disaster, and Baffert's getting 5 times more quality of the horses every year. And for the same reason, like you said, I bought $1 million horse. I'm going to Bob Baffert. Yeah, like that whole highfalutin shit. And I get it. But the quickest way to stop that to me is to give them a real suspension and hold up to it. Or if you want, if there's proof beyond a shadow of a doubt, which again, I don't know who's on what team when it comes to like the politics of the whole game, because I don't want to know that stuff. But I mean, how guilty is he? I don't know. But if he's guilty and the people in the know this, then they just gotta like suspend him for life and be done with it. Put the Barry Bonds rule on him. You're out. Thanks for coming. Your head grew 6. I mean,
and it's almost like it's weird because he's like basically an independent contractor. It's not even like the Giants were going to fire him if he didn't get suspended. He's still going to get home runs, right? So he's an independent contractor that still gets horses because you want to go to the Derby. So I'm not saying
and he
everybody
wins, dude. I mean, he had that run. And he all the way until last year, dude.
Yeah.
He had Justify. I mean, if you take Juice out of the picture, Justify, American Pharaoh, Authentic, and Medina Spirit, all in the last 10 years, and they were 2 of those horses are 2 of the best ever. If you just took the Juice out of the picture completely and had no clue, or if it wasn't even a factor in your brain at all, Justify would be like the modern day Secretariat if you didn't have all the doubts that everybody has on him. But I don't know. It's you got to stop it. How do you stop it?
Well, that's what I mean. I guess it's responsibility of the people hiring the contractor, right? A little bit of it. And it seems like we have a pretty good kickback on that with, let's stop doing that. And honestly, when I said that, I never even thought about it. This is why El Hombre and I do this type of shit, because stuff comes out that, we're dumb 99% of the time, but that 1%, sometimes we have a good point.
Yeah, you clip in, get lucky once in a while.
But no,
here's one that I agree with. Terry saying owners will get Derby fever soon and try to make it happen.
I don't know what the rule is.
I wish I knew, because if anybody knows, please comment that. If it's a fact of if there is a cutoff time to switch barns for the trainers, because
I know there is one. I know there's a cutoff
right?
time. I don't know when it is, but I thought it was like a little while ago. And I could have been just not listening.
It should have been passed.
But I think it's passed, because I don't think you can just.
I hope it is.
Put a horse in 2 weeks before the Derby and then give him back to Baffert. Like there's something with that is unethical, not fair trade, whatever bullshit.
Like you already made the bet, and it's unfortunate for the owners, but they made the bad decisions already a long time ago, and it should be too late technically. If it isn't, I don't know that for sure though. I asked somebody that the other day, and they weren't even aware. So that's a huge deal though. If they can still move barns, dude, by all means, I think Corniche and Messier's performance last week, dude, he's got to be in the discussion for the overall favorite right now if he can run.
You know, and honestly, I think they'd have a case in the court system if they couldn't, because the owners could stand there in front of the court, because everything you can bring to court, right? And you could say, like, I didn't know. Why am I being punished? I
Right.
want to change barns now.
Yep.
My horse did
And
this.
by the way, I can run this horse in like 3/4 of the tracks in the country.
And I
So
didn't know.
how can I be
So,
wrong if I can go race this horse at the Preakness 2 weeks later? It's stupid.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Now we're starting to
I feel
uncover
like
some
they'd have
things
a good
wrong with the
case if they
industry.
couldn't, and they might get in anyway. But that's when it comes to legal system, we all know. And once again, I don't want to be that person, but we all know that they don't want a big legal case. So, listen, you said he won't run the Derby. I think he will. We disagree on this point. I think because everybody's still in their barn, they're going to find something. They're going to keep investigating it. They're going to give these horses their points back. And I think he's going to have a half the field in the Derby. Well, not half. That's an exaggeration. And this is not what I want. This is not whatever. I just think it's going to happen.
I absolutely agree with Dan.
Yes.
Pull the plug, get the damage done, just like baseball with bonds. Make a statement with this situation, because this is going on way too long, and it's so out of control this year because like we've talked about, you got 3 great horses here that are not going to be in the Derby as of today, and it just sucks.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing the preps for? Messier goes out there and throws an all world freaking performance down that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Stupid, dude. I mean, as a fan, like that's like going and watching an AFC title game in the NFL, and whoever wins it doesn't go to the Super Bowl.
And then they can play in the other 2. That's the thing.
Ridiculous.
Chip Gerke from Horse Racing Nation made a funny comment with us, and he was like, "You know what? If this holds up, it's so stupid." And don't quote me, everybody, if you want to hate on Chip, but he did basically said it'd be funny if he can't go to the Derby, then wins with the same horse at the Preakness and the Belmont. Like, what a big middle finger and a terrible thing for our sport. Correct? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we don't need any bullshit in this sport.
But to Dan's point, and this is why I agree with Dan, the take I just put up there about pulling the plug on Baffert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the casual fan, the Triple Crown fan, the Kentucky Derby fan even cares who the trainer is. I mean, they might see a white-headed rich guy on there. This is from a fan perspective. I understand that most of the people in this chat tonight and the people in the industry, they do care, and I care. But I don't think, Joe, the sports better guy who puts down 100 on the Derby each year, which is a lot of people that only bet the Derby and maybe the Breeders' Cup, they throw down $100. They don't care about Bob or who trained who. They just want a $100 thrill once a year or whatever. But so I think that I don't think he'd be missed. He'd be missed by, fanboys for a couple years, and then the problem's gone. Like Bonds. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think Dan, when he said that, I think he was going deeper than that. I think he was going into even the barns in California, where, these horses that are $1 million horses go to California to other trainers. When I mentioned that before, it's absolutely right. Do you think anybody would care if I didn't realize Mandela didn't win a Derby before? I know Omaha Beach got scratched, but I'm like, Richard Mandela never won a Derby. You know what I mean? No one would think twice. If he won a Derby tomorrow, they wouldn't be like, that's his first Derby.
You're right.
I think that's the thing. Baffert goes away. Horses get spread out more. That might be good for the sport out here in general. So even if Dan didn't mean that, I'll take it like that and say that could be the case, where we get spread out more, where we don't have 5-horse fields, that Baffert's throwing 3 of his $1 million horses at you.
Yeah. I see where I see where that's my take on it is. It's bad. Maybe immediately it's bad. It's obviously bad publication or bad, bad media. You don't want the sport being talked about bad. But if 2 years later it's actually cleaner game, then it's worth it to me. I mean,
And that's the end. The end of it. And we did the whole thing with how to fix horse racing on our show.
Yeah.
And when we talk to people from overseas, it was really like unbelievable knowing that like in Australia, if you bleed, you're done. That's
Yeah.
it. And I'm not a big. I don't know if Lasix is bad. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will be. But if you get caught cheating at all, you're gone. And knowing
Randy,
that,
please
and
bring it.
they don't miss a beat, they're just more careful, right?
Jay, to your point on this one, and this is a good point. I mean, the difference here is that Baffert is the golden boy to the casual fan that, like I said, the once a year, bro who bets the Kentucky Derby once a year for $100, and that's it for horse racing. He's the golden child, and that's the difference here. Service and Navarro are not household
Smaller
names.
claim horses, yeah, they're just
They're
smaller.
big names in horse racing, but they're not big names on.
Yeah, they didn't get $1 million. They don't have $20 million horses in their barns.
That's the only difference.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's like
right.
It's like catching some backup running back in the NFL, third string running back that plays for the Lions. Nobody has ever heard of. They'll kick him off the team in an instant if he gets caught doing anything. Gets a drunk driving, you're out of here. Punches a girl in an elevator like frickin' Ray Rice or whatever else, you're out. But if they're a great player or a big name in the sport like Baffert, it takes a little more to get kicked out. Unfortunately.
Well, no, it's true. And listen, that's every sport. When you think about it, I mean, we could get into that all day, but it's if you're the starting quarterback, Tom Brady probably could have punched a girl in the elevator and he probably still been starting.
Would have been signed the next hour.
But if you're a running back that has a 2-year career after that, you're gone. It's what it is.
He happened to be at the end of his career anyway.
But Baffert is that guy.
Tune into the NFL all felons team.
Well, Baffert's Tom Brady. Let's just say Baffert's Tom Brady. He can get away with murder. And not saying Tom Brady's doing anything wrong. Sorry, Tom, if you're watching. I know.
And by the way, watching my favorite thing about Brady is, and I'm a Michigan State guy, so I hate Brady, but I respect him. My favorite thing he ever did in his whole career, not the 7 Super Bowls or whatever he's won, throwing the Lombardi Trophy on the boat last year. After the Super Bowl celebration,
to a person, yeah, that was fantastic.
Just hammered, throwing the most coveted trophy maybe in sports.
And shameless plug for tomorrow. We're doing a show. Tom Brady is not the GOAT.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be fun.
We really are.
Yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, we'll definitely help you plug that thing. What else we got here? Taking the white-haired trainers out is stupid. You going to X out top, and I'm reading this verbatim, so grammatically, I'm going to work with you. Bigger fields, bigger money, owners. It's their money, and Bob is not the only trainer in town.
I think you're agreeing with go to other trainers, and I think if you took out all the white-haired trainers, we'd be in trouble because all the white-haired trainers are famous. I think I get where you're going, Jackie, here. But I think you're saying what we're saying. He's not the only trainer in town, and he's definitely not the only white-haired trainer in town as well.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Look at what I've heard, though. I just got breaking news in my my ear here. Maybe live footage that wasn't available anywhere else from the courtroom today. I don't know. Let me see. Baffert defending himself. Ready for it?
Oh, that's unbelievable.
So yeah, I mean, we got live footage that was only captured with Trust the Prophets.
That's
incredible.
That's incredible. I can't believe he was there in person doing that.
I don't know who caught that. It was sent to me in private. They asked for not to be named. So yeah, that is what it is.
Yeah, it came from Joe at Mein Kampf. And
yeah, absolutely. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. Listen, that's what we're here for.
Folks. No. I do see a question. If we want to address it real quick, of would Jim Barnes take the stable? That is a true story where we saw this with Peter Miller out here. We see Alvarado, which is Peter Miller's assistant. So could that be the case? That's something that we haven't gone into, and that's much deeper, I guess, down the road. But it is true. Like I'll duck out, you know, Jim Barnes takes over. Now my horses can run in the Derby,
That's the
or
question of the out. That's what I was asking earlier. Can that still happen? Is that even?
I don't.
Somebody's
That's
got
not
to
even
know.
changing barns. If the rule is changing barns, you're not even changing barns. You're changing trainers. I don't.
I
I
asked
don't.
somebody that should be in the know on that type of stuff this question. I'll mention no names, but they didn't know that either. And I was like, there has to be a cutoff, and I would hope it would be before these 50-point, at least before the 50-point prep startup, which is next weekend.
I want to say who told me there's a cutoff was somebody in the know, and it's somebody that I think everybody knows, and I won't say his name. I want to say they said, well, no, they can't do that now. Because I was just like, because my thing was, well, screw it. They'll just go and change barns and get the points from, whatever. But even then, can you back points? If you didn't get them with that trainer, can you still get those points?
No, I mean, I'm sure it's like you said
go.
with the court. Of course, you can go in there with Jeffrey Feiger and try to defend yourself. We get a big money lawyer and maybe win even. But yeah, I think that's
well, okay.
My partner, one of the partners in Trust the Profits is big on that. He's like, I think the controversy is going to come when one of these owners of these, I'll use one of these like Newgrange or something. I'm just talking in generals, but goes back and they want to try to buy get the points back that this horse should have gotten had they not been in Baffert's barn. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to be an issue, because how are you going to fight for, getting the points from a race when it was clear before? It's not like they announced no points after. They knew that going in, which is really frustrating to watch these preps when the winners in 3 of these so far have earned nothing. It's stupid.
I know, but the thing is, and devil's advocate here, El Hombre.
Go ahead.
If they say that, isn't it like, well, we've deemed him a cheat, and he was training that horse when he's a cheat. How do we give this horse the points when he's a cheat? Yeah, right? I mean, it's stupid. Don't get me wrong. I think that's dumb, but I think that could be a point they could make.
No, I agree with that 100%. Like, why let him even enter then, I guess?
I just think that's why I think he's going to be in it. Because their legal team must be talking to these millionaire owners, because everybody that owns these horses are multi-millionaires. They probably have, I'm sure their lawyers are probably talking to his lawyers at this point. It's right. I mean,
it's ridiculous, dude, because coming from a fan standpoint, like every year I kind of fall in love with the Derby Trail. I keep top 10 lists. We put them out on our YouTube. It's fun. It's one of the most fun things to do with the year for me, is to just speculate on who's the best coming up and who's the top 10 best and stuff like that. That's part of the fun. It's part of the attraction to a fan, from a fan perspective. And to sit here and have literally 3 of my top 10 are Bafferts, it's stupid.
Well, yeah. I mean, we do a draft.
It's ruining this
draft show where we all draft horses, and we think it's fun. And what?
So how are you handling that?
You're gonna draft a Baffert horse? Like,
how are you handling it? Are they worth nothing?
Yeah.
So you and your buddies are doing a small pool, and they're worth nothing to you too. So I mean that ruins it.
Yeah.
But Messier goes out, like I said, he puts on a all-world performance, and some people were not blown away as I was, looking like charlatan a couple of years ago. But that's all for naught. I mean, so why even have him? Why even allow him to race? Why? I mean, if you're going to be a hard ass about it, then be a hard ass. You're not coming here. Don't even freaking walk in the building. Thanks.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, and I'm seeing a lot of comments here like points aren't retroactive. And I agree, that's probably the ruling now. But if it's ruled in his favor, you don't think they could just change that?
Do that.
I mean, that's what I'm scared of. And everybody that knows this, it's weird that no one knows this cutoff where they can change barns.
Somebody please in the comments.
Please. We're going to be on for another half hour. You guys are knowing more than I do at this point. I mean, I love that. But please tell us. Somebody's Googling this. I hope.
Yeah, if somebody at least give us a wrong answer.
Yeah, and I'll sell it. Just give it to us.
Yeah. I can. Yeah, we between the two of us, we'll sell it.
Oh, we'll fucking sell it. There's no doubt.
I'm in.
There's no doubt. There's no.
What is this? Corniche has not posted an official workout. True.
Yeah,
that's the biggest name of them all. I mean,
juvenile winner, sure.
Yeah, it's a world champ.
That's a good call. I didn't know that. I thought Corniche was just aiming at the Santa Anita Derby in my mind.
Done anything
because that's how he rolls, and I guess he could start training like next week and get in the Santa Anita Derby in time.
We need to win 150 pointer.
Yeah, and if he's got faith in him and he's got a lot of bullets, obviously. Well, once again, I don't even know. But
does he?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe if you don't work, I don't know, but he's weird like that. We've seen. I mean, think about these horses from Baffert, and let's get back to Baffert here. Think about these horses like Gamine that would just disappear and get done.
Dude, there was five. The last couple of years, he had 5 come out of the woodwork like about this time of year and looked like freaking legends, and then gone.
We saw. Well, and I was going to mention Cezanne. Cezanne takes off
$1 zillion
at a time. I mean, that was like a $3 million horse or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah. One of the dumbest purchases in American history. Go ahead.
You know what? If you saw that horse, don't get me wrong. That's way too much for a horse. But if you saw that horse in person, let me tell you.
I'm sure somebody did it.
You're like, that's $1 million horse.
The horse is worth $2 million. Whatever somebody will pay for it.
Shit. But doesn't mean, it's just stupid. But you saw that. You see these horses take this time off and everything. And, what's going on there? What's going on there? I mean, what is it? What is it with this barn? Is it all about the Derby?
You want to know what I think of what
if somebody says Game On Dude, besides Game On Dude, do we have another older horse that Baffert has ever trained that we can think
of? Medina Spirit. Oh, sorry, he didn't make it to 4.
Wow, you went.
And that's not a fun time and joke. I mean, like for real, like, come on, guy. He doesn't yet. You're absolutely. That's a great point. There, you don't see it.
No,
of course, everybody throws him off the stud immediately after the Breeders' Cup anyway.
Or you see him like Axeman, and now Axeman isn't even with him. You maybe see him go to 5 if they didn't turn out right. He puts them through a boot camp at 2 to 3 to have a shot at the Derby and have a big 3-year-old year. So then they can be breeding. And I mean, this is a problem with the industry though. That's what it's about. If Tiz the Law stuck around, Tiz the Law would not be worth, I don't think. Maybe he would get better. What he's probably worth now is a stud. So
the time off is a PED break, not to interrupt, but that's exactly. He's got to.
Sometimes you got to get that shit out of your system, man.
It's the guy who knows he's got a new job coming up. He's got to, not.
No, Arrogate wasn't old though.
Not hit the
ball. He wasn't old either. They were. I mean, I don't know if they're saying that, but Arrogate wasn't old. I'm talking like having like a 6-year-old or a 5-6-year-old, like a Mandela does. I mean, sure, they run a little longer, and Arrogate peaked later. 100%. Arrogate was one of the fastest horses in the world.
Smart by Momo there. Yep.
But I'm talking like just older, and I get it. Most big trainers don't have old horses because they're so good they go to breeding. But
that's where the money's at.
Yeah, and maybe that's a problem with our system. I mean, they leave.
Dude, like when I first got into horse racing 10, 15 years ago, it was Breeders' Cup Classic would definitely have some 5-year-olds, even older. And it was kind of like a reach for you to see you would always have the best 3-year-old in there usually, but mostly older horses. Now it's like the 3-year-olds and maybe a couple 4-year-olds like Nick's Go this year. And it was like, it's a different game, dude, because you send them out to stud and make 10 times more money. Who wouldn't do that?
There's a reason why like one Triple Crown winner ever won the Classic, or two. I think it's one or two, and I think it was Justify or Pharaoh. One of the two did it. I
To
forget.
justify winning, I can't remember.
Yeah, one of them did it. I confuse those two a lot. Pretty bad of me, but I do. But there's a reason why, because 3-year-olds don't go into the Classic. There's a reason why Nick's Go beat up the 3-year-olds. Of course he did. He should. And that's usually what it is. Look at the Classic winners. How many have been 3 years old? Now it might happen, like you said, more often.
Yeah.
Because they're all
It's changed,
retired.
man.
What would Authentic be doing right now? If he was still running. Could be a
Good point.
monster.
Could be.
You
It
know?
could have been Nick's Go. But
100%. Yeah. I got in trouble when I said he beat Nick's Go, but I think we proved that he would beat Nick's Go with.
I agree with this too. Like the early preps that have been going on the last few weeks, kind of a joke with the 10-pointers. I think it's just a cute caveat, asterisk by somebody's name that they were a prep winner for 10 points, or to get second for 3 points, or whatever it is, 5 points. Yeah, that's kind of a slippery slope. Secret G, my opinion is, because if you take that and you say, yeah, they're all 50 points, the downside of that is these early ones that really are just trying to establish who's even in the conversation mean probably too much. And I don't know. It's kind of like the playoffs. I always get a little pissed when like the NFL or NBA or whatever, they water the playoffs down by adding more teams. It used to be like the NFL, or especially baseball, dude, like MLB, you had to be really freaking good to make the playoffs back in the day. Now the playoff feels like twice the size. You get wild card, 1-game play-ins and all this stuff. And it's like half the league makes the playoffs. And that's cool because there's more playoff games. There's more money generated, blah, blah, blah. But there was something special about being one of like the 8 teams that made the playoffs.
Yeah, the NFL just did it. I mean, it's more money. It's all comes down to money. But yeah, I mean, listen, back in the day, what was it? The American League and National League. You won the league, and that's all you played against. That would be good to this day. Play the whole league, no divisions. What if you're in a weak division?
Dictated by money. I mean, that's because there's more money to be made if you have 300 freaking rounds in the playoffs, which is what's it's getting to. But
it's more money for the bartender in the bar down the street and everything like that. Yeah, more games produces more money. So and
like the way the NFL playoffs have been this year, dude. The NFL playoffs have been awesome. This is the best playoffs I've seen ever, maybe. Yeah. My boy Stafford's going to the Super Bowl. I don't know what I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to be happy with the traffic around here.
True.
But
here it is. Is this true?
What's that?
Oh no, so Jay says any horse trained by Baffert after September 30th will not be given points. Yeah, we know that. The question is,
or allowed to run. No, he said allowed to run or allowed to run. I think that's true. I think that's what I heard as well.
Then why were they allowed to run in the race where they get like Messier? Why was he even allowed to run in the prep then?
Because he's allowed to run in a condition that he meets.
So
it doesn't mean he can run in Kentucky.
So if I go up and train Messier from here on out, or you,
but this goes to my point of the legal team's got to be whispering in their ear, we're fine. We're gonna run in the Derby, because why would they? You know what I mean? I mean, unless they're all just that rich and that crazy. But even those people are usually, no offense to those people, I don't know you, but superficial enough to want to go to the Derby, right?
Yeah, 100%, dude.
I mean, yeah.
Look at this cheap shot, dude.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Come on, dude, bro.
Throwing bombs at you right now.
It has been a rough go.
Yeah, happy for Matt Stafford.
The biggest fanboy shit I can say about the Lions right now is let's go Stafford, because he survived that disaster for 10 years and he's going to the bowl in his first year away from
you want me to help you out here? I'll bring some heat on me. Matthew Stafford is better quarterback than Tom Brady. He was just on a bad team.
Whoa.
Boom. Just drop that one.
Boom.
I just took some heat off you for saying
Jesus. That is Oh, Stafford even laughing at you there. Look at this guy. See that dude? I mean, like that guy's dude. He's great. Dude, I had to preach. I preached for so long about how good, how much better he'd be if he was on a real team. The first freaking year on a real team, going to the bowl, even if he loses them,
I agree.
it's a win.
I agree with you.
So
I will not.
SSQ in the mud. I'm a winner. Don't take that from me. The Lions aren't winners, but I feel like a winner this year. How's that for you?
Was War Emblem with Baffert? Somebody just wrote that. Was War Emblem with Baffert?
Dude, yeah.
Oh, he got bought though after the. Did he train after he went to the Illinois Derby? I didn't remember he's with Baffert. I love War Emblem. One of the biggest hits I ever had.
This is what I'm saying with Jim here.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of the game in general, why would you not? I mean, like, dude, Messier looked awesome.
And I do have an insider story. And you know this story, Bray. You want me to bring this story?
Is this have to do with Forbidden Kingdom?
Yes.
All right. Yep. I got it in my notes. We have to talk to Randy. We got to get a little insider exclusive, much like that video we showed of Baffert earlier.
and this is. And with Forbidden Kingdom, my man, if you guys didn't see him in his last race, I mean, the horse is a maniac. He's great. He's super fast.
Great performance.
Yeah. He's an incredible horse. I say this because I spent time with the horse. And if anybody out there doesn't know, I do work with my racehorse. They're probably going to fire me after this show. But
we've been very strangely
kind of
under
PC
control.
In a weird way.
Yeah, fuck that. We'll
let's
go
off the fucking rails. I don't work for my racehorse, but I do. I'm out here in the West Coast, so I do deal with these horses, and I know that this is all public knowledge, so it's not even a big deal. But you'd have to look it up. Now, Forbidden Kingdom was taken from the Baffert barn. So when we talk about this is pretty important. Where Spendthrift, I believe, made this decision. I won't go and say my racehorse made this decision. I think it was a Spendthrift decision. So bear with me with that. I mean, I'm pretty sure Spendthrift was like, I'm done, and that's it. And whatever. When Trick came along, it made sense that they wanted Derby hopefuls. They actually made that move. So 4 days in the barn with Bob Baffert, the horse named Forbidden Kingdom left. He was in Los Alamitos in his barn. Left. After that, he's been in 3 dirt races against 9 Baffert horses. That's almost unheard of for a horse. He's beaten 8. The one time he did get beat by Messier, and I've told you this before, he grabbed a quarter out of the gate, still ran a 43 because he was a maniac and he can't calm down. And Baffert sent another speed thing at him, and Messier passed him. I don't think Messier will pass him the next time. I don't know. We'll see. But this horse is like, you talk about America's horse, El Hombre. A horse got pulled out of Baffert's heart, owned by 1,000 normal people out there, right?
That's it, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
I like what I'm hearing.
And
I know
Baffert's
a bunch of guys involved
with the kitchen sink at him. He's got JJ Hernandez on, who's never been in a Derby, who's a great jockey. I mean,
are they going to keep? You're in the know here. If this horse gets, he's going to good.
They're going to keep him. I know Mandela enough. I think we joke around about it, but about taking him off. But Pratt was on him the first time he got scratched. The next time Pratt jumped to a Baffert horse, JJ rode him. Funny story for Laurent Giroux.
If they change jockeys there, I'm pissed for the game.
Well, yeah. Well, he jumped to Baffert's horse because Baffert has the big 2-year-olds, and it's a business move.
I get it. I understand that, but
and also,
I think that blows back more often than it works out when you change somebody going into like a big event after, a historically good run with a different jockey. It's just my
and let's put the cherry on top of this story with Baffert.
Yeah, man.
Forbidden Kingdom is out of who else? American Pharaoh.
Boom.
Yeah. So here's a Pharaoh horse that he must. circle. And I did talk to somebody, and when I talked to some people in the know who I know, and they were like, "Oh, he doesn't even know the horse. He was there for 4 days." And then I talked to people that knew Bob Baffert for a long time, and they said, "Oh no, oh no, Bob's got that horse circled. Trust me." And we've seen it. And this horse is a speed monster. He got a new bit put in because he's crazy and he wants to run really fast. We'll see if he can go 2 turns. I'm not, doing whatever, but all I know is you either have a hell of a sprinter. Gary Stevens came on and said the only horse he's jealous of not riding was Forbidden Kingdom. And because it's fun. He looks like he's having fun out there when he goes to the lead. And that's something to be said. But it's a funny story with Baffert. I wonder what people think about that, where D. Wayne Hughes was alive at the time. It's Spendthrift, rest in peace. He passed away after that. But they made the move to move this horse out of the barn. And should Spendthrift be commended for that? Or was it a business move?
Listen, again with the insider stuff, dude, like I really don't have opinions on a lot of these topics because I don't have the knowledge of why people did what. But one thing I will say is that everything you said about Forbidden Kingdom with the backfiring on Bob is kind of gorgeous. It's kind of really gorgeous how that's working out.
It's just weird that, and I'm sure
no matter what side you're on, it's one of those things. It's like, dude, that's a good rivalry story, if nothing else.
Yeah, if he wins the San Felipe, which he's going in, and that's why I thought Corniche might see him, but he's not training, so I guess he's not. And they kept Messier away from him again. I saw that because Messier could have waited and went to San Felipe on March 5th, Big Cap Day. And then the Santa Anita Derby, which that's probably where Messier will go next, I guess. And who knows with Mandela, if Forbidden Kingdom wins the San Felipe. I don't know if he'll go to, it's a question we talk about. It's will he go to the Santa Anita Derby? Whatever, or does he rest? It's going to be, I think it will be talked about, but you heard it here first on Trust the Prophets. When you see NBC covering this story and making it probably better than how I told it.
No, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, but remember
coming from the real side.
First. Breaking news on Trust the Prophets.
Right now, the Kentucky Derby future wager number 3 is running. The number 24 is for all the Baffert horses and other horses as well, not listed there. Basically,
he's in the field.
I mean, dude, I'm hammering the field bets. I think it's only it's 5-2 or something.
Dude, how would you?
I would hammer it anyway.
He gets in. If he gets in, he's gonna have 3 of the favorites.
But dude, look at this. Yeah, I know. And he's not in the field, or he is in the field.
That's the field, right?
Yeah, 5-2. You get all those. Plus, I mean, how many world beaters have we seen so far that weren't Bafferts? Messier has been the biggest world beater we've seen so far, I think. There's been a couple cute stories. The Withers, whatever that was. I don't know.
I wasn't crazy about Messier's time. I know it's a slow track, but I wasn't crazy about it.
But he was also doing parlor tricks down the stretch because he was so far ahead. Like, you press him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I don't think it's any. I think it is a wide open field. I think somebody said that. But I think
it's always the field bet, dude. Hammer that.
5-2.
I'm all in on the field bet. 5-2. Put a half piece on that thing. 500 and.
Especially if you know a judge ruling on this case. So then definitely take the field if you know something or don't.
What I'm saying is even if Baffert doesn't get in, there's no world beaters out there I'm not putting money on something that's like 8-1 right now on anybody for futures.
Dude, that's the thing too. Future bets are weird. I know one of my guys that I told about Forbidden Kingdom got him at 150-1 and put $100 on him. And now how good's that look? After he went to the turf and looked like he was on ice skates. And I said, whatever. So he bet him. And
Where
I
was
actually
that
tried to
advice?
get
Where was that
the
advice with me though?
well, here's the funny part. You'll appreciate this, Alombre. I told him that I had insider knowledge that he's going to go to the Pat Day Mile instead, so I would buy the ticket from him for $50, and
Yeah.
he didn't fall for it.
Okay. Good.
But
Good
it
try. Though.
happens. But you could get those, like, that's the thing, because these horses, when you go to Derby Day, they're all going to be over 10-1, like 90% of them.
Yeah. And they should be. I mean, the future's like, you better, with all the shit that can happen between now and May 2nd or whatever the date is, like, dude, even half of the good ones that are a threat to win won't even make the gate for health reasons or whatever else. This year seems to be the most wide open since 2017. Remind me who was the big names in 17. I'm old. My memory doesn't serve me that well.
Jesus. No, 17 was, wait, no. That wasn't Country House. Jesus.
Throw them in there, Pyro. Throw them in there for the main contenders going in versus who won that year. I can't recall. I'm an old man.
I don't either. I'll look at it real quick. But no,
Baffert's
I mean, listen, 2 years ago, I mean, we had a Derby that was it was in September. So we obviously feel better. I feel like it's always like this. I feel like this is why the juveniles never come out. They don't usually win. I think there's been like how many that have won?
Essential Quality was real close to doing it, and he's the only one in recent years that I can remember that did well through.
Oh yeah, that was the Always Dreaming year. Yeah, that was
Always Dreaming.
Yeah, looking at Lee Battle of Midway. That was a wide open year because there was no like super horse.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. There was no standout.
Yeah, there was no super horse.
Which is cool. That's cool to have. I like years like that.
It's too early to judge if there's not a super horse. Like you said, Messi might be a super horse. We don't know yet. I mean, we
probably never know.
Could be a super horse. I mean, but they usually don't come off of it. Listen,
the fact that we don't know is what sucks to me, though.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we know if he's a player?
Oh, was that Always Dream Classic Empire Cloud Computing? Yeah, that was the weird. That's a tough year because look at one of the least memorable years ever. To be, honestly, we don't even see those horses in breeding that much. Well, Classic Empire, I think.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean.
What else are we talking about, man? I mean, I think we've nailed the main bullet points. I think a lot of us have. I'm serious. Like you opened with the fact that you were confused, and I think a lot of us are. Like, I wanted to come out here and just rail the dude. That would have been more fun, but I couldn't do that with good conscience because I don't genuinely know enough. I'm not dumb enough to think that I'm smart about it, so I'm not going to do that publicly. But I'm confused too. I do wish that somebody would take a stand and either say you're out or you're in, because this hanging over bullshit is stupid for the sport. It's dumb. These horses running in the preps, winning that mean nothing sucks. Period.
Yeah, it is so fucking stupid. I mean that's an easy way to say it. Like, what other sport are they letting a team play that can't go into the playoffs? We saw that with like college football before, right? Remember, we're like, you can't play the bowl games. It's stupid. Like it's dumb.
Well, I just said it. Imagine Stafford and the Rams pull off the miracle, win the NFC Championship game, and then don't go to the Super Bowl. That's what we're looking at right here.
Yeah.
If you're a football fan, you quit watching this sport and you say, this is stupid because I don't understand how this works.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
No, absolutely.
That's what we're watching. And you're trying to convince people, like, you're trying to grow the game to people who are kind of maybe they're fringe people. Forget about it.
That's the thing. Like, it's every time we take one step forward in horse racing, boy, do we take 3 steps back.
Dude, I've been trying to get people on board for so long. And when you see shit like this, they're like, what was it? Oh, the Breeders' Cup. Well, I can't remember which event it was. I think it was one of the juvenile events on Friday night.
Oh, and
the horse ran but didn't pay, just ran for the prize money. It was like, if you want to alienate people instantly, throw a horse out there that wins that doesn't mean anything to the prize money. Instantly.
Yeah, because
instantly,
if you don't
the
know
whole world that
doesn't
understand
betting, you're like, well, this is stupid. This is dumb. Like,
You just
Why am I
basically
doing this?
effed anybody who was like a first time viewer that night the most confusing shit they've ever seen in their life. And
Yeah,
stupid, by the way.
yeah, it's crazy. It's
So I mean,
crazy.
it's like the horse racing industry is a cutter. You know what a cutter is?
Well, I saw the movie. What's it called? They were cutters. Dennis Quaid back in the day. What was that? Like
They like to
Running
hurt
with
themselves.
Freedom?
They're masochists. They like to
Oh,
inflict
those
pain on themselves.
cutters. Oh, I thought you meant cutters as in they used to group people in. Oh, the people that cut themselves for.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
horse racing industry is a cutter. The horse racing industry is a cutter. They like
They
to make
want to
things
go through
really
pain.
difficult. They even if they start to get like ahead and a little like something's going positive, they slash themselves with something
Yeah, I don't
like a
deserve
Jeffrey
this.
Dahmer like type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't deserve this happiness. Let me cut myself.
Let me
Um,
DQ the winner, but let him race and only get prize money, but the betters don't capitalize at all. That way, everybody's confused, nobody understands it, and everybody's a loser except the one owner that you made happy. Go ahead.
well, that's the thing. Like, listen, like, and we could go into it, and we should probably do another show sometime, Ellen and Brian, on how ass backwards horse racing is. Because
Yeah,
you think about it, from 2 years ago with what Country House, right, and
yeah,
Maximum Security.
security. Yep.
You have this first DQ that I don't even know if it's DQ, whatever. And then all of a sudden now, think about it. Have you ever seen so many DQs? And Hot Rod Charlie is the coolest horse in the world because 4 frat boys bought him. And you know what I mean? Like, oh my God,
That was
like
rough.
we just do
That was
things.
another one.
Yeah.
Great story coming through that could have made like national and was making national headlines. And then they shit all over his grave with the trip incident, which I understand that rules are rules and you got to abide by them. But that was another great story, another cutter story for horse racing. It was
Yeah.
like, here he goes. This guy's going to. And Hot Rod Charlie was a great story all year. Fun horse to watch. The frat boy thing was fun to watch. Maybe young people, God forbid, get involved in this thing. And as soon as that horse was making good story, horse racing is an industry.
I don't think horse racing cuts their rest though. I think they do their thighs. They hide it.
Yeah.
They hide it.
They know
what I
better.
mean?
They try to keep it, less.
They try to
Keep
keep
them
it
wear
hidden.
long sleeves and
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're like they're the I
incredible.
don't want to say the heroin addict in the summer with a long sleeve shirt.
So maybe we can be paid by the horse racing industry to kind of moderate the cutting and the things that they're doing, because I think there's a lot of big errors being made. I mean,
It's insane, man. It's insane. But I guess we come out with it with I don't know. We talked about Bob Baffert. I mean, it seems to me like if he just went away, it would be better
yes,
right now.
that's what I'm
Because we
saying.
wouldn't be talking about this. And it's at this point, it's not even personal to Bob. It's just, but
He's
would
got
they
to be the
find somebody
example.
else?
He has to be the example.
He's
He's got to be he's got to be the example of let's fix it once and for all. Whether Bob's the worst human being on the planet or not is beside the point. But just like with Barry Bonds and everybody else with baseball, again, I'll go back to it. There was half the league doing the roids back then in MLB. Roger Clemens mysteriously got better at 40 than he was at 35, things like that. Everybody knew what was going on, so they just had to draw the line no more, dude. And then that was the end of all of that era.
Yeah.
Now we look back and say that steroid era. And that's what the horse racing needs to be able to do that, dude. They have to be able to say, do you remember when Baffert was being accused of this every year? Do you remember that? And then anybody new, like within the last 5 years, would say, no, that must have been crazy. But no, unfortunately, they just keep letting it drag out. And it doesn't become a thing of the
And you
past.
really got to look at it like, and we didn't even hit on the fact of like, is it a witch hunt? Like, is Baffert who we have to make as a martyr
The
for
fall
it?
guy, yeah.
Yeah, the fall guy. I mean, because these lower level trainers, like people mentioned, I know they're worse. He doesn't have the best. He doesn't have the most best. Jesus, worst breakdown percentage. He doesn't have A, B, C, and D. He probably doesn't have the most tests. You know what I mean? Do you have to like almost throw him in the fire to make a point.
Yes.
Because nobody gives a shit if we suspend a trainer in Indiana.
You want to know why? I say yes 100%. I know that was probably a hypothetical, but the answer is yes. You do need to throw him in the fire. And it's unfortunate for Bob and anybody else who thinks I'm wrong here, but it has to be done. And here's why. Because he's winning. It's the same thing. Lance Armstrong is another example. That dude won 1,000 Tour de France's and was the greatest cyclist in the history of mankind, whatever. And if you don't think the 16th place guy was also juicing himself to the fucking gills, you're
They
wrong.
had a bus that they used to go into.
Yeah, dude.
Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They all went in and got juiced together and, probably laughed about it, how stupid the drug tests were, whatever. But Lance, if Lance would have continued to get away with it, then it never would have changed. But instead, that guy went from the biggest hero in American sports Olympic history to somebody that now everybody just hates that dude. And he's an asshole. He deserves it. But like,
yeah,
it never
apparently
would
he's
have
kind of an
changed.
asshole. So
What's that?
He's kind of an asshole. It doesn't.
Yeah, he's a total prick, dude. I mean, just a bad human. Bad human. Hitler. The Hitler of cycling.
And for all I know of Bob Baffert, he seems like a nice guy.
Dude, I guarantee. That's why I stopped short of just killing him. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to come out here and compare him to Charles Manson and shit. That'd be more fun. But I don't know. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'd like to have a cocktail with the guy, whatever. But at the same time, he is the martyr, dude. He is.
Well, at the same time, you would have liked to have a cocktail with Charles Manson as well.
Well, yeah. Well, let's not do that. Look at this. We got Fly P checking in saying Chaz Manson. Anytime Manson comes up. This dude, what do we got?
Chaz.
Baseball always knew what was going on, and that's what Randy brought up earlier. It saved the game in some ways. That McGuire, Sosa, Bonds era, baseball was dead before that, bro. I mean, it was
when they had that home run race. I remember people stopped in the street for real. Like I saw people stop in the street.
Oh yeah, dude.
When somebody broke the record, and people were like, "He broke the record!" Like listen on the radio. Like,
dude, yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. Yeah, I mean, it is true, and you're right. Maybe horse racing knows it, but there's a difference. Like make the track faster. I don't know. You want some records? Make the track faster. I don't. That's weird. Baseball got it, and they tightened up the baseball, and now you can have as many home runs because you tightened up the baseball. We don't need people with steroids. I just don't understand how it works with horse racing, where unless we want Bob Baffert to be Bill Belichick, some sort of Darth Vader attention of
that's horse what I think he's already there though, isn't he? He already is.
But I mean, does horse racing really promote it like they did that? That's kind of my question. Like
they're cutting their thighs in the corner. I mean, like they don't even know. It seems like they're not even going in the direction of making. You want to make him Darth Vader? That's brilliant. Here it is. Once again, if you're just joining in, we do have exclusive footage of Bob earlier during the Medina Spirit live footage from earlier today. I mean, we're here bringing what we're going to do for you here. Trust the Profits. We're going to bring the best we can exclusive.
I can't believe you got that footage. I mean, that must have been straight from the.
We got people underneath, behind. We're setting out, putting in the work for you guys. All right.
Hey, yeah, no, it is funny. I like
Thank you, Nana. 3
Belichick, Baffert. Maybe there's something to that. What do you think about that? I think anybody with the first initial B could be in trouble. Maybe they're the same person.
I don't know. I think Belichick's going to run a way cleaner program than Bob. But
have you ever seen Bill Belichick and Bob Baffert in the same place at the same time?
Nor have I seen Belichick and Hitler in the same room.
I haven't seen Belichick in a long sleeve shirt in the same time.
That's true. So,
Brian,
what else we have to cover?
That's a good one, man.
What else we have to cover? Anything else we want to bring up? thanks everybody, dude. We had like 20, 40 people in here at one point. Good turnout.
Yeah,
We knew the
yeah. I
Baffert
mean,
angle needed to be taken. People want to talk about it. It's uncomfortable, but uncomfortable's good.
yeah, yeah. And I see the Pharaoh comment at the end too. No, it was great. Everybody was cool. I mean, I feel like I listen, when we went into this El Hombre, we talked about it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
didn't have like a motive to accomplish anything, just to talk about it. This wasn't like a planned set of let's.
That's why I tweeted out earlier that this was not like an assassination of Bob, because I really didn't. I think some people probably thought it was going to be because it's me and I'm a smartass. And
Mhm.
that, like I said earlier, dude, that would have been way more fun. I could have been
Yeah.
rolling. I could have been rolling Richard Ramirez videos and John Wayne Gacy, cutting bodies out of the floor and that stuff. Comparing that, it would have been awesome. Maybe I still will if you hang on long enough. But
If
but
JJ
dude,
Holmes comes out,
yeah,
Uh,
you get HH involved, dude. It's gone. You've had one too many beers, dude. So I don't know, dude. But like, I for real, I'm torn on it. Torn on it. So
it's funny. The more I talk about it, the more I'm confused. And I really,
and we got
I
20,
feel
we
like the
got 20,
people are
20,
too. We got
30
a lot
people
of,
commenting on the sidelines here, and they're all there's like what did you see? Looking at the comments that we've gotten all along here, 3 or 4 people have taken a stance on one side or the other. The rest of them are kind of in our boat where they're like, how do we fix it rather than being an asshole? Like it's easy to be an asshole, but how do we fix it?
yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I think everybody in here cares about the sport. I don't think, as much as we wanted to come on here and be funny and bust balls about everything, I think we went to where everybody else went to, where just, what do we do? What do we do here? Bob's here, and what do we do? So, I mean, there's Bob in court with his wig on. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and at the end of the day, I always look at it like this. Maybe I'm lazy, but and I don't know how long, but you tell me. If I was Bob Baffert, wouldn't you at this point just hang it up and
Yeah.
walk away?
You know what
You
I
have
would do,
enough
honestly?
money. What
You
do
know
you
what I
have
would
to?
do, honestly? I would take that dude's obviously wealthy, right?
Yeah,
I'd hang it up. I'd show up at any race that was convenient for me to show up to. I'd wear a very light blue colored suit with a bright yellow tie,
sweet,
lightly tinted aviators,
nice.
and just be a giant prick to everybody
I,
and
exactly.
enjoy it. By the way,
Yeah, I would.
I mean,
Exactly, and be
the
like, I
the
don't
dude
care.
for
I'm
what's left of the
retired.
sport. He built what's left of the sport. I mean,
And if he did that right now, in 5 years, he could come back and be an analyst if he wanted to. He could walk into anywhere he wanted to be around. Carte blanche. You know that.
yeah, dude, he's a legend. He's the guy.
If he quits, he's admitting guilt. I do see that, but you're right. But what of Peter Miller? No one's going to remember that. Peter Miller took a vacation.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, you're right. But
That dude shows up on
it's
that
better
dude
to
shows up
admit
on
guilt
camera
and
with
people
coke
forget about
shooting
it
out of
than
his
be
nose every
convicted
3
of
seconds.
guilt. I think, right?
Dude, I love it. Dude, the fact that me and you got through this thing without really being that much of a prick is kind of a shock.
It was kind of impressive.
Kind of disappointing. Yeah, impressed, disappointed. This guy, dude, look at notice if you look down in the far corner there, real closely. That's a Detroit Tigers shirt. That's because I know this clown. He's not comfortable with the big shot Bob slander. Really?
I thought we were good.
Dude, yeah, we're going easy on him.
Well, this is what happens when you deal with Tiger fans. We all know how that goes. Listen, we actually. My buddy put up a
Have
tweet.
you ever seen Ric Flair and Baffert in the same room?
No, my buddy put up a tweet one time, and he doesn't even tweet. He sent me something, and he's the kind of guy that doesn't tweet. And he put Baffert being whatever, and he had Ric Flair doing the woo, woo, and no one got it.
Yeah.
But Baffert, Ric Flair would be
never been seen
greatest.
in the same room.
I would just hire Ric Flair if I was Bob Baffert.
Yeah, just let him walk you around.
Well, just let him go in the thing and just be like, hey, put on the sunglasses, do the strut.
Why would do you? If you're Bob, dude, like your legacy's kind of fucked anyway. You might as well just stamp it with bringing Flair out. Let him wear like
That's what I mean.
Yeah, put on a sports coat with diamond encrusted sports coat.
Oh,
everybody
total
wear the blue lens
shit.
aviators and just walk out like it's the WWF in '83, dude.
Oh, dude,
incredible. Now that show,
like a boa, like a boa around his neck, like it would be. See, that's what I would do if I was Bob Baffert.
Dude, yeah. Why would everybody would just shut up? Like they wouldn't be mad at him anymore. They'd be like, this guy gets it.
Own the heel. Own the heel.
Dude,
and
if you walked in with a diamond encrusted suit coat on with frickin' Jake the Snake Roberts' strung out ass and Ric Flair on the other side, would be just the most entertaining thing ever. And everybody would forgive him right there. Bob, no matter what I thought of you before, you're good. We're good.
If you do that, you will be in everybody's good graces. Everybody will forgive you. Bob,
all the terrible shit you've done in your life, we're good now. We're good.
And he might be listening because I do know he's a big fan of Trust the Prophets.
Well, God, yeah. I mean, the DMs we get from Bob's team, you guys would all be shocked. But look, I respect privacy.
That's fantastic.
Baffert's not the entire sport, but to nearly all casual viewers, he's the face. True.
Yes.
That tune in once a year. Yeah, it's exactly. Jeff, I made that point earlier. Like that dude is the face of the industry, especially to the once a year bettors, which a lot of my good friends are once a year bettors. They play. They're NFL guys, NBA guys, and they tune in once a year for the Derby. That's a huge piece of the industry. Is that guy, and they're all Baffert fans. So yeah, he is a huge. That I think that's why he gets away with it, dude. Like that's why he hasn't been shut down.
Yeah.
I mean, throw a couple playmates on his arms. Do
yeah. We'll make him the Michael. What's his name? Averone of like the trainers. Like
maybe have him have like Virgil. Remember them with the $1 Million Man?
Oh yeah. Oh, he could walk around. Well, Virgil's probably still around. He went. What's he do? Oh, he might have died.
I think did he die? I'm sure Mark Hastings, who just checked in a minute ago with the Baffert comment, he could answer that because he's a big wrestling guy.
Did he die? I don't know. I don't want to say anything, but
I'm pretty sure he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah. But I get you. You can we'll get Virgil. Oh yeah, that would be great. Oh, if he went at the $1 Million Man type of thing. Oh yeah, with the money belt.
How fun would that be? Just walk out and just like wipe his ass of the 20s. Incredible.
What do you want? Like embrace the heel at this point.
Yeah,
we need that. Embrace it.
The Tesla, which is if any, go ahead and Google that guy if you want a real thrill ride. A lesser known serial killer.
I'm just laughing because I'm sick enough to know that. Still alive. Mark said Virgil is still alive.
Well, I knew you'd know. I knew he'd bring the facts.
So, Mark, we can get him. I'm sorry. Listen, it's a coin flip with anyone in the WWE, including AJ, at any point. So. Uh-oh. Did Alombe freeze? I think he froze. It's really odd. He's staring at me right now. If anybody can hear me on here right now, say something in the comments because I think El Hombre might have been visited by Todd. El Hombre, are you there? Wait.
I think Virgil's interfering. If you're back now,
I am. Was I out?
I don't know who dropped. I think I dropped, but Virgil got a hold of my internet and took control there for a minute.
His wife is shutting him down. Nice. I'm surprised Sarah hasn't come in here yet and thrown a shoe at me. But I have to deal with her.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Wow, everybody's still talking about this. Is good. Good conversation here, Ellen Bray, with everybody.
Yeah,
I think
fun. I think
It was better than I
really
thought
enjoy
in
the
the sense of
positive energy that I bring.
it's people that care. That's kind of cool, you know.
Is there better
Yeah,
options now, Mark, than the AOL dial-up? Yeah, I mean, I just don't know with it.
he's in South Carolina. Give him a break.
We're down on the Bible Belt, bro. I got to work with what I get. Yeah, 8 megabits of RAM all working for me.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap it up, dude. Any last comments? I mean, we had a lot of good stuff here. We had exclusive video clips of Bob in court earlier, twice, 2 different clips. We had the hot take on Forbidden Kingdom. If you missed the clips earlier, here they are again, Baffert. That was earlier today. Hasn't been released to the public yet. Will be tomorrow. And this one as well. So
yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, Bob he dyed his hair, but he's got to go to court, so that makes sense.
yeah, he's working undercover these days. So, all right, man. Randy, awesome. Thanks for coming, dude. Like I said, we've been on the Triple Clowns podcast or YouTube channel a couple times for shows. It's been fun. So first time for you on here. We've had your boy AJ on once or twice.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Good guy. Love having AJ too.
Nah,
He was supposed to originally join tonight, but things happen.
Yeah, no
doubt.
People
firing off at us. What do we want to cut this off? I mean,
I'm good if you want to keep going and talk to the people. I'm good.
The people demand more,
Well, I mean, listen, my Sarah's gonna hate me when I go in the room, whether it's now or 20 minutes from now. So
fine, yeah. You might as well spread it out.
Yeah.
What does this mean? Can you make sense of this one? It's a lot of reading for me at this point. We're an hour and 20 in here.
Oh, okay. Well, there's basically saying that other people popped more than him, and they're trying to make a mockery out of him, which I kind of agree with. And that's actually the only side with
there's
being
the devil's advocate side to take.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up because if you do look at the cases, he's not the worst offender. I mean, what's the difference if you're drugging a horse to win? I get it. It's more in the public thing, but
because
if
he's the name, bro,
to win a allowance raise for $60,000, what's the difference? Once again,
because nobody cares if you take down Mark Hastings, horse owner, that races a $10,000 maiden claimer race that's juicing the shit out of his horses. Nobody cares.
I know
because they don't know who he is.
Exactly.
Baffert's in the public eye.
Yeah. So I mean, yes. So is it a witch hunt to be like you're popular? Yeah.
Love him or hate him, Baffert has. Yeah, of course. That's why he's the topic of the hour, dude. Because it's pretty split. I know some people that actually respect their opinions that are on his side here, which is pretty a tough side.
You know, it's one of those things where, when I was younger as an actor and I was doing like a kid show and I was always told like little eyes upon you. And the bigger you get, the more you have to watch your P's and Q's, right? And Bob Baffert is
top
the
of the
biggest of there is. Like, so yeah, if some asshole at local theater did something and I did something, there would be a difference.
There it is. Baffert getting the Joe Rogan's another perfect example.
Yeah.
I like that Mark here. This is one of my boys.
I like the reptilians comment.
Yeah. You know where he's coming from. What's his name? Who's that dude? Come on. Mark, just go ahead and put it in the chat because I know it's coming. What's the maniac's name? It's like that guy.
David. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The one that's been abducted like 12 times. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
The one that Hillary Clinton's trafficking babies for rape and all that stuff. That guy.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. You know what I'm saying? It's
it's weird. He was just over and I forgot his name.
Yeah. Run-of-the-mill conversation during a horse racing.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones, bingo. Exactly.
Which is really funny because that's somebody's name we know. I won't say whose, but that's somebody we know.
I would probably not go by it either.
Well, friend of the show, let's just say that.
As a prophet, you should know this. I did know it, and luckily in that moment, I have had like 4 beers. I couldn't bring it up, which I'm kind of proud of. Jeff Decker playing dumb like I was. He knew it was Alex Jones all along. He backed off. Good play. Well played, Jeff. Have a take. Don't suck or you'll get run.
As a prophet, you should know this. I like that too.
Baffert will win the Naira case, but he needs to drop the suit versus Churchill Downs. Hot take.
Well, I think that's a lawyer move, though. I mean, that's a lawyer move to be like, you're going to sue me, I'm going to sue you back. Maybe you'll drop your case. I mean, if he does, maybe that is an agreement. If he drops it, I mean, it's what, erroneous charges or whatever it is, or whatever he did. Like, you sue back. Like, I'm going to sue you because this is so ridiculous. I'm going to sue you for the fees. I mean, I think that's what he's doing, right? And I mean, listen, at the end of the day, he's going to have like a weird, I'm probably saying this wrong and I get in trouble, but like a civil rights case. I think it is, because it violates his civil rights of being like, why can't I go in here? If you found me not wrong of anything, why am I not allowed in your club? And I think
it is. That's where it lies. It's pretty stupid. To me, it's black and white. Somebody, and I don't know who it is because I'm an idiot. I don't know who's in charge in the big scheme of things. And unfortunately, I don't think there is that person, because from track to track, it's one rule to another. He can go to X track, but not Y track. That's stupid in itself. It's like the NBA, dude. You couldn't go play in Detroit against the Pistons and then not play against the Cavaliers in Cleveland because Cleveland doesn't want you in there.
You imagine if like penalties were different? I mean, we talk about all the time, like, what if holding was legal when somebody played in Detroit?
Yeah, exactly the same thing.
I mean, like, that's how horse racing is. How ridiculous! Like, it's so
horse racing is a cutter, dude. I started down this path. It's a cutter.
Horse racing is a cutter. We should do a whole
masochist cutter. Yep.
I do see the question: how much time did Linda Rice get? I know it got postponed. It was 3 years, and then it was appealed and postponed for a long time. I don't exactly know that answer, but I know it was like 3 years. Like, she got 3 years, and then all of a sudden it was like whatever. I mean, look at the woman in Delaware, the trainer, right? That beat the horse. You know this one? Hit the horse, caught on tape, and had a year suspension. Then it went to like a month, where she should have just been thrown out. I mean, you fucked up. I mean, there's a bunch of them.
They're just
to be settled for the San Felipe. Jim, doesn't matter. We already talked about the winner of the San Felipe, and that's Forbidden Kingdom. So it's not going to matter for points anyway.
Look at this guy. Taking a stand. Somebody's taking a stand. That's what we do here on the Prophets
right now on that. But no, but you're right. Jim, has to be definitely before the San Diego Derby. But San Felipe is really, really probably the goal that this is to be.
Should Messier be allowed to run in there even for no points? That's where I fall short too. That's stupid.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, what if they didn't get points, if they aren't retroactive and they don't get that back, and then you go in and God forbid, you know, and I'm not even being a homer here, Forbidden Kingdom goes and wins those races and he fucks your horse out of those points they
had. Yeah. Dude, yeah. I mean, that's exactly the problem. Why you can't run them if they can't earn points? I mean, it's on a small level, it's already happened. Baffert's already won like what, 2 perhaps minimum, I think at least 2, where the winner didn't get any points. So like, you know, me and you are sitting here trying to get our dream come true to make the Derby field, even with a shitbag horse, and we can't earn points because Baffert's in here blasting away. You know, it's just ignorant.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't even know like that. If anybody knows that out there, like if you come in second, if you can't get points,
you don't get them. They're gone. The points are gone. I know that for sure. If it's a 10-point race and the winner is Messier, the 10 points go to nobody.
So all these California horses are screwed.
No, yep, they're all screwed
because of that.
Yeah, you get, if you got second for 5 points, you get 5. You don't get 10 just because Messier got DQ'd.
So why wouldn't
broken system, babe?
You know,
you can't let him race if he can't earn points.
Why wouldn't Mandela go and ship to the Fountain of Youth with Forbidden Kingdom in case he runs second? You know what I mean?
That might happen, dude. I mean, that'd be.
No, he's not. I know that.
Okay. Well, I mean, it would.
No, he's not going. Yeah, but why wouldn't he? Right? Like,
yeah.
Maybe
Messi is gonna. If you think you can't beat Messi, then yeah.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, that's weird. I just feel like the people in the know that he's going to be in the Derby, because why is no one's doing anything different, right? No one's moving their horses. So they're playing it like it's normal. Why would I not think they just think it's going to end up being normal?
All right, so we're gonna cut this off. I think we both got to get ourselves out of trouble. But this is this point I just put up on the screen. He has to focus on the money for the Preakness. I've seen this take from a lot of people. Like Baffert's just gonna, aim for the Preakness, and that is such that it's true. I agree with you, CS Racing. I agree with you. You're right. That's the thing. But that is so shitty for the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really bad for the industry
and the owners.
Yeah, and everybody, and the fans, and the bettors, and everybody else. It's bad. It's bad. And to say, like, and I don't know, CS Racing, I'm not saying you're saying this, but like to say that, because I've seen a lot of people say this. Oh, he's just going to send him the Preakness and win that and make his million. That's asinine.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bad.
If that's his plan, you're being an asshole. If that's his
that's
plan.
A bad look, dude.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good spot to close, because that's a bitter ending to a bitter subject that I think it's a bitter subject, because I think it's really putting a damper on the what should be, in my opinion, outside. I like the Breeders' Cup more. I think the Breeders' Cup's more fun, but the Triple Crown, the Derby preps are the first or second most fun time of year, and Baffert's just shitting all over it, wiping his ass with hundreds and laughing at you. That's my take.
Especially if that's the case, then that's the case. Then you're just a straight asshole.
I don't think he is. I mean, at this point, I don't know if it's his choice or not. I mean, that would be. I think a lot of people are saying that because, like, obviously at this point he's not in the Derby. So how does he win this fight? Otherwise, is to just go say, I'm going to go win the Preakness at Pimlico. So.
And it doesn't, I mean, even with breeding, I'm sorry, but when you sell a horse at breeding, I won the Preakness and I won the Derby, it goes for more if you're the Derby. I know it's probably should be the same, but it's more money in the long run. You're a Derby winner. Preakness winner is great, but a Derby winner's...
Sometimes the Preakness turns into a joke, though. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they sit out and they all go to the Belmont. Preakness is the joke of the bunch, and they're not a joke, but it's the joke of the three. It's the throwaway if there was a throwaway.
Yeah, right. You're going to get if there's somebody who's a genuine Triple Crown threat, of course they're going to go. But somebody else who isn't, that already lost the Derby but is a good horse, they're going to save for the Belmont a lot of times. Yeah. It turns into a joke. Sometimes the Belmont turns into an even bigger joke. So
if two
depends on the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, Randy, we'll close it out there, man. I'm going to cut it off.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I think you made a great first appearance, man. I'm proud of you. Thanks for not being intimidated by my fame and all that. Like I know
it's hard. It's hard, man. I had to come on early just to
hold your own.
Stop feigning. But it's cool. It's cool.
And thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll do it again soon. We're getting a lot more requests to do lives, which I don't know. It's a little harder for me, but we'll try to make it work.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
And what are we doing? We're talking about the Brady is not the GOAT conversation, maybe for tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Brady not the GOAT for everybody out there.
Brady not the GOAT. That could spin up and be wild.
That's going to be uglier than the Baffert thing.
Yeah, dude. I might have to drink for that one. Like really drink. I had a couple beers during this one. I'll drink for that one.
Absolutely. I hope you do.
All right.
I hope you do.
Randy, thanks again, man. Yep. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We'll check you. Peace out.